Paul Reubens spent 40 hours telling a filmmaker nearly everything. His hidden love life, the arrests that nearly destroyed him, the identity he wore like armor for decades. But there was one story he couldn't quite finish, and it involved the man who helped him build everything in the first place. Before Pee-wee Herman became an icon, Paul Rubenfeld, born in 1952 and raised in Sarasota, Florida, was a young man quietly falling in love. His boyfriend, a painter named Guy, had an endearing habit of describing food in lavish sensory terms. That quirk found its way into Pee-wee's voice, a small piece of a real love story folded into a fictional character. When that relationship ended, Paul reportedly stepped back into the closet and never let himself love that openly again. Instead, he poured everything into a character he believed he could control, one who never had to apologize for being exactly who he was. Phil Hartman entered the picture just before that wall went up. A Canadian-born graphic artist who drifted into comedy, Phil joined the Groundlings improv troupe after reportedly walking on stage during a 1975 performance with such natural confidence that the group essentially recruited him on the spot. By the time Paul arrived, Phil was already one of the troupe's steadiest performers, the kind of collaborator who could sharpen a joke, anchor a scene, or make another performer look brilliant without demanding the spotlight himself. The two became close almost immediately. Together, they built something remarkable. Their stage show, the Pee-wee Herman Show, ran for 5 sold-out months at the Roxy in 1981, and when it came time to turn the character into a movie, Paul brought Phil in as a co-writer. The 3-person team, Paul, Phil, and Michael Varhol, literally followed a screenwriting manual, pinning index cards to a bulletin board to map out where a stolen bicycle would disappear and exactly when it would come back. That disciplined playfulness became Pee-wee's big adventure. And when Paul hosted Saturday Night Live in 1985, he personally helped get Phil in front of Lorne Michaels. Within a year, Phil Hartman was a full cast member, a career-defining break that came directly through Paul's door. But success has a way of complicating things. As creative credit and financial recognition became real stakes, the warmth between them reportedly cooled. Phil later suggested in a radio interview that unpaid work and insufficient credit played a role in their estrangement, though he also called Paul an extraordinary talent in the same breath, which says something about how complicated the whole thing was. Paul never offered a public rebuttal. After his 1991 arrest made headlines, he reached out to Phil for the first time in years. The line opened briefly, but the friendship never fully recovered. Then, in May 1998, Phil Hartman was killed at 49, and every unresolved conversation between them became permanent silence. What's striking is how Paul chose to talk about him afterward. He didn't minimize Phil's contributions, and he didn't use Phil's death as an opportunity to win an old argument. He credited him precisely and honestly. The index cards, the warning about wasted range, the SNL connection, and then simply said, "I think about Phil all the time." No tidy resolution, just the truth of a friendship that gave both men something essential, and then ran out of time to heal. If that story stays with you, hit like and subscribe. There are more of these carefully told histories waiting for you.